Stick with me, guys. I'm going to teach you something about decoying. You know how I'm not going to go that way with it. But themselves, they mimic. I play some of their game back at them, and they fall for it, okay? So if you think we're the Tinman right here is parked, okay? And he's looking for something that sometimes at least has two of those. It looks like something like that sometimes anyways. And maybe has pets that help him with his job. And he's he's got a lot of jobs to do. But there's only so much interaction that he wants to deal with when it comes to humans. So what I'm seeing right here is I'm seeing little faults of theirs. See all those rusted out bits? When a car comes down the road, they shine different. You see that? I thought that was pollen at first on this branch here. See how it's all just undersuckers on that branch to fan out and cover this area that would be otherwise pretty darn open. Okay. So I went up and I looked at it and I thought I actually just went tunk for the, knock it off, and it didn't come off. And you know why? It's because it's a type of moss. Okay, so I think it was even this branch or something like that, and I was playing with it and it was coming right off. Just so you know, people, you don't want to really play around with this stuff too much with your bare hands, just so you know. I don't know I always wash up and do some good stuff. You see this real fresh growth right there, right? See this little chunk of fresh growth? It's just so you understand fresh growth. If we hone in and understand fresh growth and stuff like that, because see how this is an excessive amount on those branches and stuff going there? The tree doesn't really want to do that. He is smarter and he's more programmed to be putting that energy here for a good reach at that guy up in there. So anyways, this moss, and I've talked about this a lot because there's a huge spreading of moss, and science doesn't understand the spreading of moss now. Sometimes they think that a tree might have it as a genetic imprint inside their seed somehow to have the code for moss, because sometimes there can be tree that's out somewhere way over there that is sorry, that just messed me up because I just didn't want to show any residents. Anyways, the tree is way out in the field somewhere, and there's nothing around, and it gets 3 or 4 different kinds of moss on it. Science is following that kind of thing, and I'm advising on different things. And one of the things I would say with this in particular thing, because this is the only accumulation, there might be 1 or 2 spots over here or something. Yeah, there's a couple there. Anyways, what kind of moss is this? How easy can it be spread? Can you just touch it? Do you actually have to bring certain size of fragments and kind of place them on the branch, and it'll easily just, as long as there's moisture, it'll do its thing? So you see this branch right there? How it has a big tweak in it to do that? Well, if you went up and you actually take a look at some of these little ones like this, and try to figure out if there's a small tweak. Like if you actually take this branch and when you're moving it, and easily breaks, like I can tell there's barely any juice or life in it at all here. So I'm imagining, oh no, it's right there. Because that example is that example. But if you actually went into even like this one might be totally a nature thing, but in some cases, you come in and you'll end up seeing some kind of a flaw on the branch that tells you, hey, somebody could have nipped at that. So I just want you to be aware of that. I wasn't taking a good look at that to see that, but like this one right there maybe. Because it's got its branch there that wouldn't have all of a sudden just given up on life. It's already maintained a certain amount of life. So its thing going on here is either right in the needles, and this isn't a shedding period. These things don't really shed, I believe, but they have been going through a shedding, and where they do a regrowth. Hence, all that stuff that I just pointed out inside or whatever is a lot of regrowth stuff, because it was never there, so it's growing, and it's just a tree is regrowing some stuff. And that's not the mentality of trees. It really isn't. There might be certain ones that have certain things like that, but generally, no. A tree is just going to try to get himself up there. He's not going to worry about stuff down here. The nutrition just wants to go past it. When sun and stuff isn't even coming into these lower things, in many of our cases, those lower branches die off because they're not even getting a sun nutrients. It's changed a bit, I believe, because these beings, I believe, have the way of doing, and absorbing a lot of nutrition from the ground, even a lot of storing, where you see a lot of trees are swollen up with a lot of whatever abundance from earth. I've talked about that a number of times, so you can go in at this one, say. Let's see if we can find it anywhere on this, or if there's a separate snap here or something. Well, that whole branch went. Okay, so this whole one is gone here. Oops. So I'm suspecting something in that range there has turned off the That's what I used to think was turning it off, but now I believe that they, even in the cases of just these, they just do a little, the cases of the little branches of these, they just do a little slit somewhere. Like these ones and stuff. So they got something new coming in on one of their marks probably. Like a tree's doing this. A lot of you guys may be thinking, oh no, that's just totally normal stuff, Tinman and stuff, and it isn't. Tree arborists could tell you a lot of information, especially if they remember the old information. Like this, that's a huge story right there. It's not one event or anything like that. That's a big story right there. And people don't realize that. And that's what I'm telling you a bit, is I'm telling you a little bit of a story about the trees. And I'm telling you there's something going on with the trees. And around the world, without me saying that, science has already noticed something going on with the trees. In some cases, they'd hardly look at it because they're so happy with what they're doing. And then in other cases, they're so distraught and upset and not knowing what's going on. Oh, my thing just blanked out, so peace out from Tinman. I think it's still running, but just died or who knows. Peace out.